Welcome back and thanks a lot for staying with us. This is Politics Tonight, and tonight we're discussing 3 months of President Tinubu's stewardship with a member of House of Representatives representing Damboa, Goza, Chibok Federal Constituency of Borno State, Honorable Ahmed Jaha. Honorable, so many issues to talk about this evening, but let's talk about rehabilitation of repentant Boko Haram members. What is the impact of this on the crisis? As many people believe, it's unnecessary.
Yes, as part of the procedure, some repentant Boko Haram members presented themselves voluntarily to negotiate or to surrender to the Nigerian military, which a substantial number of them did. And the benefit of that particular repentant Boko Haram being in our midst is first to encourage those that are still in the bush to realize that if you can come voluntarily and present yourself to the Nigerian military, nothing is going to happen with you. So a lot of people have been presenting themselves voluntarily, coming forward to submit to the Nigerian military and lay down their arms, which is applicable all over the world. It's a global practice. Secondly, the benefit is the same repentant Boko Harams equally participate side by side with the Nigerian military in the operations. As I'm talking to you now, they were given arms and they used to go to the bush and witch hunt their former colleagues. And some of them went even to the extent of communicating with their former colleagues that they should come down. There is nothing is going to happen to them. Government is going to recognize them. The most important thing is for them to lay down their weapons. So a lot of them are coming forward. So I think it's one of the non-kinetic approach that I believe reduce the tension or the level of insurgency, particularly in the Northeast.
So, Honorable, how will you react to some critics who have said or argued that these terrorists should be dealt with rather than being rehabilitated?
No. I have a minority opinion in that respect. I know a lot of Nigerians are not happy with the way and manner repentant Boko Harams will bring themselves forward and present themselves and be accepted and be united to their families. And I know a lot of people are not happy with that. But I'm among those that have a minority opinion in that respect, because I know what we went through in our constituency as far as Boko Haram insurgency is concerned. There was a time when one cannot venture out of his comfort zone for at least 2 kilometers. If you do that, you will end up in Boko Haram's net. So we know what we faced. We know the kind of people that were reduced to nothing. These people were millionaires in their own right in their various villages. But now they are reduced to beggars in their various IDP camps. So we don't want to, in fact, we are not praying for any part of this world to witness what we witness in the Northeast, especially in Chibok, Damboa, and Goza.
So you do not agree that this may be an initiative that may, later come back to haunt us as a country?
I can't hear you clearly.
What
do you say?
Honorable. I'm asking if you do not agree with those who think that this is an initiative that might later come back to haunt us as a country.
No, I don't agree with them. It has been a global practice. In fact, even in Nigeria, it happened in the Niger Delta region. Did they come back and be with wanting Nigerians? No, it happens everywhere in the world where insurgents, people took arms against government. Then later on, there was a negotiation that they should come forward. It's a non-kinetic approach. It's applicable all over the world and it's allowed. In fact, it's part of the United Nations recommendation.
All right. So you talked about the Chibok girls earlier, and we see that some of them are still being rescued. How hopeful are you that others, as well as Leah Sharibu, will be rescued?
Yes, we are still praying because some of them came in voluntarily and present themselves that they are one of the Chibok girls that were abducted in 2014. So we are still hoping that the 87 not yet recovered Chibok girls will be recovered, inshallah. That is our prayer. And this is the wish of every parent in Chibok, to have their words returned home safely.
Right, so talking about politics in Borno State, the vice president is a former governor of the state. How would you describe his influence on the state?
No, he is very influential. You should understand he has been there since 2007 in the helm of Afia. He was appointed commissioner for education, later on commissioner for finance, later on commissioner for education, agriculture, commissioner for health, commissioner for local government and chieftaincy affairs in just 4 years. And after that, he got elected as the executive governor of Borno State from 2011 to 2019. I served with him in the Borno State House of Assembly between 2011 to 2015. I equally served under him as Commissioner for Higher Education and at the same time a Commissioner overseeing Ministry of Sports Affairs between 2015 to 2019. Then we exited Borno State government together and came to National Assembly as Senator representing Borno Central and member representing Chibok Damboa Goza Federal Constituency, respectively. So I know how influential he is. We equally served with this current governor under him. He was a commissioner for reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement. And he put him there based on merit. And the guy have succeeded in achieving what he was appointed to do by reconstructing areas ravaged by Boko Haram. And this is exactly what gave him popularity. When we were in the council, substantial number of his days was spent outside the Duguri Metropolitan Council. In other words, he has been in the village, associating with people, building, rebuilding the communities, and persuading people to be resilient. So the governor is his boy. We are equally his boys. And at the end of the day, I'm telling you, anybody in Borno, directly or indirectly, in one way or the other, Kashim Shettima is instrumental to his success.
So, I mean, the relationship between many former governors and their successors have become tarnished. I want you to talk to us about what's responsible for the smooth relationship between Governor Zulum and the vice president.
To the best of my understanding, the reason why there is a very cordial relationship between Zulum and Professor Zulum and Senator Kashim Shettima is because of humility. Kashim Shettima is very humble. If you can recall, at a certain time, before he became the vice president, he used to address the governor as his boss. You know, where you have conflict is where you pretend to steer the affairs of the state together with somebody. Kashim Shettima has never done that. He left everything in the hand of the governor to decide, which the governor enjoyed that particular privilege. And he respects the governor, despite the governor is his younger brother, despite the governor was his one-time commissioner, was his one-time rector for a polytechnic. But still, he respects him. And up till now, as I'm talking to you, there is nothing like argument or disagreement between them for the past 5 years now.
Impressive. So as a stakeholder, how will you describe Governor Zulum's performance in Borno State?
Fantastic. Fantastic, to the best of my knowledge. Because if you look at, in fact, to be fair to him, is the first governor, and the first governor, I repeat, that constructed flyover in Borno State. As I'm talking to you now, he is doing the second flyover, despite the challenges we have for the insecurity. Secondly, if you look at the rate at which people are going back to their communities, it's been facilitated by the governor. It's the governor that to do everything for people to go back to their various communities. As I'm talking to you now, these palliatives all over the country, you will agree with me, is the first governor that started doing the palliatives to alleviate or reduce the pressure of subsidy removal on the population. Let me give you an example. He was in my local government last 2 weeks, and he shared food to more than 18,000 households. Household, not individuals. Household, 18,000. And they were all happy. And he proceeded last week to another local government in my constituency, Damboa, and shared food to more than 13,000 households. Sorry, 15,000 households. So what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell, other governors now I can see today, Adamawa was doing his own, and Yobe was equally doing his own, because they have seen example from Governor Zulum. So to the best of my knowledge, the governor is trying. To the best of my knowledge, the governor's performance is beyond comment.
So how do you think the states can use the influence of the vice president to bring more development to the state?
The vice president is not for Borno State alone. You should understand this. Vice president is representing 36 states of the federation, including federal capital territory. So vice president cannot influence anything for Borno alone, because I know he's not a selfish person. We were together with him. We worked together with him for more than a decade. I know the type of person he is. He is from Maiduguri Metropolitan, but he has never discriminated that or shown concern that he is from Maiduguri, because he was a governor of Borno State. And now that he is a vice president, I don't think he can use his power to influence any project to Borno in particular. But he can do that to the northeast. He can do that to the northwest. This is a person that was born and bred in Borno. He schooled in the southwest. He did his NYSC in the southeast. So he has gone everywhere in the country. So I know Kashim Shettima is a true Nigerian, and I don't think he can use his influence to shortchange other regions of the federation.
All right. Honorable Jaha, let's talk about the National Assembly. How do you think the National Assembly must work with the president to bring more development to the country?
Yes, National Assembly, we are ready, because to start with, we have about 80 ranking members in the National Assembly, even though a substantial number of us are new members. But as I'm talking to you now, we are on job training. We are on the job training in the sense that members that came in freshly have been receiving training day in, day out, through committees, standing committees, ad hoc committees, through oversight and other issues. Despite the fact that members are on recess, if you go to National Assembly, you realize that members have commitment. Substantial number of members are still in Abuja and attending one or two activities in the National Assembly. So we are ready to assist the government. We are ready to support the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to succeed.
So another very crucial discussion is the executive-legislative relationship in the country. How crucial is this for the development of the country?
It's very critical. And as far as this government is concerned, it has taken the perfect way to establish that cordial relationship between the executive and the legislature. For instance, if you look at the executive part, substantial number of them were derived from the legislature. The president was a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The first lady was a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The chief of staff was a speaker to the House of Representatives in the 9th Assembly. The vice president was a senator for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The secretary to the government of the federation was equally a senator. Chief of staff to the president, which they call DCOS, to the vice president, which they call DCOS, was a senator in the 9th Assembly. So what I'm trying to tell you in a nutshell, the relationship is already there. This government is lucky to have Femi Bajabiamila as the chief of staff. Yes, because you can see how cordial the relationship is. And definitely Nigerians are going to enjoy our cordial relationship with the executive.
All right, so how can this relationship be further consolidated for facilitation of good governance?
Yes, particularly in the areas of bills making or making laws, if I can put it this way. There will be serious agreement between the executive and the legislature on certain terms or on certain clauses as far as a bill is concerned, so that there will be expedited process for that particular bill to be passed into law. And the president can always welcome any reasonable or genuine legislation from the executive for assent, from the legislature for assent. One. Secondly, if there is a cordiality of relationship between the executive and the legislature, you realize that the budget cycle will remain from January to December, as we enjoyed in the 9th Assembly. When we came in the 9th Assembly, we said, no, it's not going to be business as usual. Under Femi Bajabiamila, budget cycle must come back to January-December budget cycle, which we did, and definitely will continue with this government. We are expecting the president to present his budget maybe this month or next month, and we will do justice to this budget and pass it on or before 31st December, so that it will have executive assent the following day.
All right. Honorable Jaha, I'm sure you know that a lot of times the synergy between the legislative and the executive is often misconstrued as rubber stamp. What are you and your colleagues doing to ensure that the 10th Assembly is not labored as such?
Rubber stamp, as far as I'm concerned, and from my experience in the work of legislature for about 2 decades, rubber stamp is a relative term. Call us rubber stamp if you wish. The most important thing is we are doing what our constituents ask us to do. There is one thing people fail to understand. If there is cordiality of relationship between the executive and legislature, they said you are a rubber stamp. It's just like you and your husband now. If your husband loves you and there is peace in the family, then your husband's relative will be thinking as if you charmed him. No. It's because you are doing what he wants. So the most important thing is we should sit down together, agree on something before doing it. In a situation whereby you describe somebody as rubber stamp, which evidences do you have that we are rubber stamp? Simply because we are doing our constitutional job? So I don't think rubber stamp, as far as I'm concerned, rubber stamp is a relative term. It depends on how you use it, where or how you use it.
All right. Let's also talk about another development. September 6th has been set for the outcome of the presidential election petitions tribunal. What are your expectations? And do you see a rerun?
No, my expectation is there shouldn't be any rerun. My expectation is not because I'm an APC member, even in the interest of the country, and even because of the strategic position of Nigeria in the African continent. The outcome of that particular, I am hoping, it should be dismissal of the petition filed by the opposition party. That is my prayers.
So what areas do you think the president needs to focus on in moving the country forward?
3 areas. First, security. Because if there is no security, there is no way you can attract foreign direct investment. And if there is no foreign direct investment, there is no way you can improve the economy. There is no way you can improve the economy if the dollar is not, if the naira is not appreciated. So whether we like it or not, we have to provide security. Secondly, the government should focus on areas where they feel some part of the country has been shortchanged or are on disadvantaged position. For instance, education. As a result of Boko Haram insurgents, people lost going to school for 10 years. I want you to understand the gap. In other words, somebody that is supposed to finish secondary school in 2009 is out of school for 10 years. So he's going to graduate in 2019. Or he's going to finish his school or going to go back to school in the next 10 years. How do you feel that? So we need government attention in the area of education, security, and the economy.
All right. So, Honorable Jaha, before I let you go, I would like you to drop a message for Nigerians as we begin to hope for a better future under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
My message to Nigerians, particularly the young men, is to be patient with the cost of living of today. It's a temporary situation. I have a strong belief that there will be light at the end of every tunnel. The decision taken by this government to remove subsidy is for the betterment of our future and for the betterment of the young generation and for the betterment of the country at large. So people should understand that sometimes as government, you must cultivate the habit of taking painful decisions for future to survive. Thank you.
All right. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Honorable Ahmed Jaha, member, House of Reps, representing Damboa, Goza, Chibok Federal Constituency of Borno State. Thank you so much, Honorable, for coming on Politics Tonight. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to meet you too. Thank you.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Good night.